Okay, so ladies, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I understand the two of you have been having a bit of problems, and you know that we have an expectation here that if you are struggling, that you come together and you have a conversation with one another. Okay? And so I think one of the first things I want to say is thank you very much for willingly and eagerly coming forward really to have this conversation. And the other thing I want to say is I am not sitting here as your supervisor, okay? Both of you agreed that it would be best if I was the one to kind of come in and help you to have the conversation, but as I'm here helping the two of you to have the conversation. I'm not here making judgment, or I'm not going to tell you what to do, okay, or how to resolve this. That will be left with the two of you to do. Okay, so basically I'm here to help to guide you forward in this conversation. I have a couple things that I want to ask you before we actually get started, and one is just in relation to how much time each of you have set aside today to actually spend together talking. How much time do you have, Diana?
Oh, roughly about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes.
About a half an hour?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'll take what is needed.
Okay, so whatever is needed is good for you, Dana? Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's plan for about 30 minutes. If it gets done sooner than that, excellent. If not, might have to set another time to come back together, or maybe you'll decide that you want to continue on and look at changing some of the meetings or whatever it is that you have going. Okay.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I just want to make mention of or ask you about is things that might help you to actually talk with one another. I know that this has been sort of a major issue and concern for the two of you for the last couple weeks. And so sometimes when you come to have a conversation, you're not exactly feeling comfortable, and there might be some things that you want the other person to be aware of that would help you to feel more comfortable in talking, and things that I might be able to help in terms of just watching for and bringing to your attention as the two of you talk over the next half hour. So Dana, is there anything from your perspective that...
Confidentiality is really important to me.
Okay, so confidentiality in terms of...
Keeping this conversation between us as we produce a solution, and respect.
Okay, and so confidentiality being important and respect being important. And what does respect look like in terms of the two of you talking?
To me, respect looks like making sure that both of us are heard, and we come out of this conversation understanding perspectives.
Okay, so making sure that the two of you are heard and that you come away with some perspectives. So I heard that respect is important, and confidentiality being that this conversation stays here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree too. I agree that that is something that should stay between us for now. Like,
Okay, and just so you know, again, with my role here, anything that the two of you bring forward, anything that is shared, I'm bound by confidentiality, and that's my role as a facilitator. So I will not be sharing anything that you might have to say with anyone else. Now, having said that, knowing what the job is and the responsibilities, there may be some time, or there may be a time when we're going to have a conversation about whether that can stay here or not. And I'm not making any presumptions at this point, but I will bring that forward if it does happen. Okay, Diana, is there anything in addition to the respect and the confidentiality?
the no interruptions.
Okay.
Just being able, listening to each other is one thing. Like if I'm speaking, I don't want to be interrupted, and vice versa. If Dana's speaking, I won't interrupt her. I want to be able to say what I need to say and be done. The other interruptions or distractions would be the cell phone.
Okay.
I would appreciate it if you would turn it off during the duration of us having this conversation.
I will turn it off and remove it from the picture here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so interruptions being important. So I'll be kind of watching for that. Now, I just want to say that, and actually get your permission, because I consider myself also bound by what you've brought forward. And I'm just asking for permission if there's something happening and I feel requires some further communication around it, that I may be given the permission to actually interrupt either one of you in order to do that. So
Okay.
do you have any objections to that?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay,
It
anything
might
else?
bring some different perspective to what we're
Mhm.
discussing, right? So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anything else? We got respect, confidentiality, and interruptions.
No, I think that's,
Okay, so I have written these 3 down on a piece of paper, and I'm just going to set it in the middle of the table as a reminder in terms of what it is that you've committed to one another when it comes to having this conversation.
okay.
Okay. Now, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so first off, need to know what has been going on. Okay, so Dana, what is it that has brought you here today? What do you want to talk about?
These last couple of weeks working on the project and being new, I've made multiple attempts to try to learn the best I can from Diana to not a whole lot of avail, benefiting the crunch of the time of the project, but I have felt that my confidence in my abilities, I do have abilities that will contribute to the team, but I have not felt any recognition or an opportunity to express that, and thus my confidence is getting lower, and I wish to take on more of the project.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Diana?
Well, yes, I have sat with her and I've gone through some of the responsibilities around the project, and just feel that perhaps Dana's not taking the initiative, that she's still looking for that guidance. Where I feel that perhaps that I have, like, my time is limited, so I felt that I have given her time to look at these, and that perhaps she just isn't catching on quick enough, or,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, I've heard from both of you that really the focus of this discussion needs to be around the project and the last 2 weeks in terms of Dana starting and her involvement in the project and what that looks like for the two of you. So really you're here to talk about your working together on the project. Would that be fair?
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we explore that a bit further? And now's the time and the opportunity for the two of you, to really focus in on what it is that is concerning you, and to share that with the other person. And I, again, will be here just to assist and help to guide that conversation. So who would like to go first in terms of sharing more of your perspective in relation to your relationship, working together, and the projects in particular?
Okay. I had set up an emergency meeting last week with a client. A client had contacted me, and the scheduling, it just so happened to be on one of Dana's days off. I had felt that perhaps she should have taken the time during her day off to come in for that meeting. That her priority wasn't on the client, and I felt that she should have come in, and that's one of the things.
Okay, so if I can just interject here, Diana, you're bringing up a specific instance where last week you had requested on Dana's day off that she come in for a meeting. And she had said she was unavailable, and as a result of that, you were feeling that the client is not the priority in relation to her taking the time or her not taking the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how did that have you, what were you feeling in relation to that interaction with her and the thought around her attending or not attending that meeting? What was going through your head?
Just honestly, just that she wasn't, her priorities weren't in the right places.
Okay. And what do you see those priorities being?
The client, the client's needs, should always, kind of be the first priority, right? Second would be like her responsibility to her job.
Okay. So you consider the client's needs and the responsibility to the work and to the job being critical?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the project to continue and to move forward, I think
Okay.
those are priorities.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So Dana, how would you respond to that?
In regards to the same instance, that emergency meeting, I would have, would have come in, but I was with family in hospital, and that was a priority for me that day. And I feel as though that's not the first time that has happened as well, where meetings have been scheduled for my days off, and it seems to have become a pattern that has made me feel excluded, truthfully.
Okay. So so last week when this happened, you were actually in hospital with family.
Yeah, I was taking, yeah.
And so how did you feel when that call came through?
It was a stressful day as is, so I don't imagine I replied as well as I could have, because my priorities were different and attained that day.
Okay, so the family piece was really important to you. How did you feel in terms of being asked at the same time that the family issues were happening to have been asked to come into work?
I felt my priorities were very clear over keeping those personal relationships. As much as my opportunities have been limited at work, and I did feel a very strong pull. I did obviously not come in, so my priorities stayed with my family.
Okay, so your family's really important to you.
Yes.
And it's not even a question in terms of family or work. Family in this instance would take priority.
In this instance, it was priority, but in the past with scheduled days off and very short notice to come into the meetings, I have been unable to make it. And I do feel that the pattern seems to have been on my days off. We don't have very many meetings when I am scheduled to work, so that pattern has it definitely made me feel excluded from the decision-making process. And
So you're really feeling that Diana is intentionally booking meetings, that kind of thing, when you are not available and when it is your time off?
and due to the number of meetings that have been scheduled on my days off, it does seem that way. I would hate to make the presumption that it is in that sense, but it also does reflect that I don't believe she views me as an important part of the team, where my contribution would be important at those meetings.
Okay, so you're really questioning how valued you are in terms of being part of the team when those meetings are happening when you're not available. Okay, so being part of the team to you looks like what?
Having open communication and equal involvement.
Okay, great. Diana?
You want a response to what she's just
Yeah,
told me?
what are you thinking right now?
The meetings, as far as scheduling meetings, it's not intentional. Honestly, I don't feel that it's intentional. It just, it happens to be, I guess when my time is available, right, is when I'm scheduling the meetings. And unfortunately, it does seem to look like it falls on your days off. And
So what is your expectation around that?
my expectation. I guess I do expect her to come in for those meetings if, you know, they're critical. She is to be handling, you know, the budgets and the proposals and marketing, and some of those meetings are around those specific areas. So yeah, I guess I do expect her to come in for those meetings.
And when she is not available, what are you thinking?
I think it falls down back to the prioritizing. I think, you know, I don't want to throw any solutions out there yet, but I don't know how we would go about kind of changing that. I think it is a problem.
So she isn't able to come in for the meetings, okay, and you begin to question her ability to prioritize or her willingness to step in.
Perhaps the willingness to step in, and it's perhaps coming into taking that initiative to move forward in her job. I don't think Dana's quite, like I said, I've spent time with her. I've showed her how to do some things, and I have tried to step back, but I feel like she's waiting for more instruction, you know, and I'm looking for her. The expectation is to start taking that initiative to move forward on her own, like in that respect, the areas that she's supposed to be taking responsibility for.
So you'd really like to see her take initiative, and her taking initiative would look like what?
I think it falls down to the prioritizing, and doing things on her own, like doing the budgets on her own, or making the proposals, or taking the time to maybe come into one or perhaps not all of the meetings, but taking the time to come into one meeting, or, you know, depending on what the agenda is for that meeting. You know, if it involves what she's responsible for, maybe she should, you know, take the time to come in for that specific time.
So what I'm hearing is that, Diana, you really feel it's important for Dana to take initiative, and that you can see that happening through her actually starting to do the budget, starting to work on some of the proposals, that kind of thing, and that you feel like she's almost hanging back from doing that. So why do you think she might be sitting back and not quite doing those kinds of things?
Maybe a lack of confidence in her abilities. As I said, I've felt that I have spent the time trying to teach her and show her what needs to be done in regards to those responsibilities. I'm not sure what more I could do in regards to that. I think maybe it is, you know, perhaps you're still unsure of yourself and need more time.
I do recognize how important your time is, and the pride you take in your work, and I, in a sense, I'm trying to model that, model the pride and the quality you take into the project, and that's where I would appreciate more time in being taught how to do things as well, and take the pride and the quality. That I do want success for this project, as you do.
So Dana, how do you respond to Diana saying that she's wondering if you feel confident?
I think I have been heard and recognized in that sense, that my confidence is not what it was as I came in. I know I am capable to be a strong member of the team, but in response, I felt that reduced over the last couple of weeks.
Okay, and why is that?
That lack of involvement and the opportunity to prove myself that way. As far as initiative goes, I do recognize I should be jumping in further, but I'd like to do it well, and I'd like to do it properly, because we both know there's not the time to do anything twice, and we want this done right. So if I'm taught thoroughly and have the confidence going in, I will be able to save us more time in the long run. Is really my goal.
Okay, so so the quality is really critical. You want to be able to take pride and demonstrate your capabilities, which you feel you have. The last couple weeks, you've been feeling less and less confident, and would like to be able to demonstrate that to Diana and to the team. Again, the team comes out as being really important for you
Absolutely.
in all of this. The other thing you had mentioned, and I'm curious, in terms of success, what would it mean to be successful in this project?
Successful is very, very team-based for me. We all have different strengths, and we all have different qualities that we can bring to this project to make it an absolute success, and get the rewards back. But success is really a team. That's huge for me. So to take equal success in it would mean to be able to put equal work, and I do not feel that I have learned enough to participate as much as I know I'm capable of.
Okay. So how did the whole team piece come to be important for you? Where did that come from?
I've come from a lot of sports and leadership workshops, and a lot of stuff that has made that very valuable. And I've been a part of teams that succeed and witnessed all different kinds of leadership and different strengths, and that's the most rewarding feeling for me, is the success as a team and as a cooperative unit.
Excellent. Okay. Okay, Diana, what did you hear Dana to say?
What did I hear? The success as a team, being included as a part of a team, and being able to contribute her strengths and capabilities to the team, to work, everybody bringing their little piece in. That's what I heard in that. So teamwork is a priority, is important to her.
And so where does team factor in for you?
Probably along the same lines. Everybody working together to come out to the same result, right? And coming to that result, working together and coming to that result in a manner that is successful, and the end result is what we look for. We have a specific goal in mind, and everybody adds to that piece, and we get to our goal.
So I'm hearing both of you say that teamwork is really important. You may have a slightly different view on what that looks like. So Dana, for you, what I'm hearing is the aspect of being able to contribute overall and work alongside other people to accomplish a goal, and how good that feels when you actually do that. And Diana, what I'm hearing from you is that yes, it's critical to work together as a team, and it is very clearly about the outcome, and it's about being able to focus in and achieve that outcome through prioritization, through the working together. Not as much, and correct me if I'm wrong, not as much of an emphasis on working alongside other people as each person having their own piece,
their own strengths,
to work toward. Okay, okay. So is there anything else that either one of you would add to this conversation?
I think so. I think we've covered the basics of what seems to be the issue.
So how are the two of you feeling right now?
Feeling a sense of relief and hope. in sitting down having this conversation.
Okay.
We will be able to work well as a team, and we do have enough in common. We both want to succeed here, and
Okay. So there is one other step that we need to get through. Diana, how are you feeling?
Confident, yes. That yes, the conversation is good. It has. I have seen and understand a little bit better of Dana's point of how she sees her job, what she might need in order to attain the successes that she's looking for.
Okay.
So.
So if I can just summarize where things are at right now. The two of you have shared very openly, and I'm sure that's very much appreciated on both sides. And I have heard that to both of you, teamwork is important. Okay, teamwork may look a little bit different from both of your perspectives, but it is important. And that being able to demonstrate your ability, your skills, is also critical in that. And what goes hand in hand with that is success. And the success of whether you're working together as a team, supporting one another, or the success of coming to that outcome, getting that result, is something that you want to see happen. Now, Dana, I've heard from you that it's important that you be able to prove yourself, and that you want to be able to demonstrate your capabilities and the quality that is being asked of you, and that you really feel that with some additional training and support that you can make that happen. And Diana, along with that, I've also heard very clearly that being able to prioritize and take initiative to get the tasks done that are required, demonstrating and focusing in on the client and the needs of the client, the responsibility and taking responsibility for what is going on is very important to you. Okay, so knowing that and understanding that, do you believe that you are at a point that you can move forward and possibly generate some solutions that will be able to meet both of your needs, interests, and values in working together and focusing in on the projects?
yes.
Okay, good. So the next step in all of this is to look at doing some brainstorming. So this is about the two of you going forward and actually looking at the projects and how the two of you can work effectively in ensuring that you have what you need in order to be successful in completing the projects. So what ideas do you have in that? And I just want to remind you before you go forward that when we're talking about brainstorming is there are no right or wrong answers. That we're going for quantity, not quality. So anything comes up, right? Goes on the table, I'll write it down. We won't discuss it. We'll just go at it for a few minutes and see what list you come up with. Keeping in mind, again, those needs, interests, and values. The key ones for the two of you being teamwork, and initiative being another one, and success. Okay, in the projects? Okay, so what ideas do you have? Just throw them out.
Personal development.
Okay,
Advancement.
personal development. What else? Personal development for advancement, did you say, Dana? Okay.
Prioritizing, setting goals.
Okay, so setting goals might be helpful. So setting goals in relation to what?
To the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else might be helpful?
Sharing weight.
Sharing.
Sharing weight and of roles and responsibilities.
Okay, so sharing in the roles and responsibilities. What else?
Open-mindedness to new ideas.
Open-minded to new ideas.
Open communication, to add to that.
Okay, so open communication. Anything else? So remember, this is about how you can work more effectively in moving this project forward. So any other ideas come up?
I can think, because I think that covers
Okay.
kind of what it is that we're looking for.
So personal development for advancement, setting goals for projects, sharing in the roles, being open-minded to new ideas, and open communication. Okay? So do any of these really stand out for you as a place where you might want to start? To have a bit of a conversation and maybe to outline some of how you're going to make that happen.
Setting goals.
Absolutely, I agree.
Number one, be setting goals. Okay. Okay, so the next piece of all this would be to identify what steps or what things you could do to be able to set those goals. Okay, so now I'm just cognizant of our time, and we have been at this for half an hour. I'm just wanting to check in and see how the two of you are doing. And knowing, Diana, you had a half-hour time frame. What you would like to do at this point.
Well, we can continue
Okay.
for a few more minutes. I would like to see the process, how it kind of finishes out.
Okay. Okay. So we'll continue on for a few more minutes. Check in.
Yeah.
We'll maybe finish up with the setting of goals. Okay.
Okay.
So what do you guys see in terms of how you will accomplish this together? What kinds of things could you do?
Meet with the team on a day that's not on her day off.
Okay.
So
And do what?
Just discuss, get together, discuss a day that we can get together and discuss maybe the outcome of the project.
Okay. So what you would like the outcome to be
To
for the
be,
project? Okay.
Yeah, and then look at how we need to get to that outcome.
Okay. So scheduling a day with the team or part of a day with the team where you can all come together and communicate with one another around the outcome and how that will get accomplished. Okay. So would that meet each of your needs, interests, and values?
Yes.
Okay, and you see that as a positive moving forward?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay, so what, if anything else, do we need to finish up today? Are you comfortable, or how comfortable are you in leaving it like this? Would you like to put this down on paper and make a commitment to one another? How would you like to handle this?
I think starting off with that team meeting is probably a good idea. Putting down on paper, you want to put all that we've discussed on, is that,
No, just what you've committed to one
What we've
another in
committed to
terms
one
of
okay.
this moving forward.
Yeah, I think having it there
Okay.
in writing is probably a good idea, because it's there as a reminder of what we've discussed and where we need to be moving towards, so.
One more question before we end. If this does not and is not successful for you, what are you going to do?
Come back to this,
Yeah.
come back to the table,
Okay.
and be more open with each other and communicate where we're seeing issues, and
Okay.
I think it would be this as an idea to be able to talk to each other still.
This communication, I would rely on this professional interaction if this were to fail.
Okay, so if this is not working for you, you basically both agreed that you'll come back together and have another conversation and work forward in terms of looking at other strategies or things that might help you to be successful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
well, thank you for coming in, it definitely helped,
Yes.
so.
Excellent. Good.